So this week's theme is all about insects. Gonna get buggy. So we're gonna start with a couple books. I'm actually gonna read you two, they're both short, about insects and how we can tell insects apart from other animals. What animals are insects, what animals aren't, what different things distinguish them apart. And so then that way we can tell this is one or this isn't one. So the first story is called Is It an Insect? And of course, these are all true nonfiction facts. There are many kinds of insects. All insects have 6 legs. So there you have one very important feature in a way that you can tell one animal that's an insect apart from other animals. So on this page there are some insects. There's some ladybugs, ants, butterfly, grasshopper, and this very large beetle. And you can see that there are some labels, just like in some other diagrams that we've seen. So here are the legs, antenna, more legs, and then the name beetle. So if we count these legs, because these are real easy to see on this large diagram, we will come up with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 on each side. All insects have 3 body parts. Are spiders insects? No, they are not. That is one very large problem. A lot of people think that spiders or some kinds of spiders might be insects, but they are definitely not. Let's see how we can tell them apart. So on this insect, which happens to be a hornet, the 3 body parts are labeled head, thorax, and abdomen. So on you, this is your head, this is your abdomen, and your thorax is this area right in between that holds the 2 parts together. A spider is not an insect because it doesn't meet either the leg number qualification or the body part number qualification. So spiders have 8 legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means that they're not insects because insects have how many? 6, right. And spiders also only have 2 body parts. They don't have a thorax area. They only have a head and they only have an abdomen. So they have the head and the abdomen, and those are put together. So that's why spiders are not insects. Are these animal insects? No. This is a pill bug. I'm sure you've seen those before. But pill bugs have 3 body parts, but they have more legs than 6. So that makes them not an insect. A centipede, remember we talked about centipedes on the 100th day of school? Cent means 100, remember. Centipedes don't actually have 100 legs, but they do have a whole lot of legs. So they, of course, then cannot be an insect. And then a millipede has many body parts and many legs, so they cannot either qualify as an insect. So on this page we have a chart that shows some other different insects, and the question that we're trying to answer is it an insect? Count to be sure. So we're going to count body parts and legs. So a ladybug has 6 legs, 3 body parts. That means yes, it's an insect. A mite has 8 legs and only 2 body parts, so it would not be an insect. Daddy long legs have 8 legs and only 1 body part, so they definitely are not insects. And an ant has 6 legs and 3 body parts, so yes, it is an insect. Okay, now we're going to look at a different book. This one is just called Insects, and I want you to see this cover. It has a fantastic picture. This is a real picture of a praying mantis. So this picture was probably taken with a camera that had a magnifying lens so that you could see a lot of the details of the praying mantis's face, upper body, and front legs. Looks pretty weird, huh? Okay, so let's find out about some insects. Insects live everywhere. There are insects like flies or cockroaches, even in houses. There are insects like grasshoppers and beetles in gardens. There are insects like ants and bees in parks. Some insects, such as butterflies, fly. Well, that's a beautiful one, isn't it? Very pretty green. Some insects, such as fleas, jump. Some insects, such as weevils, walk. Some insects, such as water striders, even walk on water. They are so cool. They kind of just, it's like surface tension is really what it's called, but it just means that they are able to very lightly stay right on top of the water. There are millions of different types of insects in the world. This tree is just full of beetles. But all adult insects have 6 legs and 2 antennae, and they all have 3 body parts called the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Most insects lay eggs which hatch into young insects. Many insects change their shape as they grow older. Like we learned about insects that are caterpillars that become butterflies. Some insects, such as aphids, are very small. Do you remember in the story that Kelsey read about the grouchy ladybug that they were eating aphids? So aphids must be even smaller than ladybugs. Some insects, such as stick insects, are very big. Some insects are dangerous to people because they can spread diseases or because they can bite or sting. But insects can also do important work, like making silk and honey and pollinating plants. So pollinating plants is like, we've talked about this a little bit, I think, like when bees will go from flower to flower to flower and they get the pollen on their legs or bodies, and then they drop the pollen from one plant to another, and that helps each plant produce seeds in order for the plants to keep on growing. So there are some fun facts about insects, and now we know that we can tell an insect apart from another animal because it has how many legs? 6 legs. And did I stick my thumb out? 6 legs and 3 body parts. Okay, watch the rest of the week for more stories about different kinds of insects.